Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Beacon of Light podcast. Tonight, we are thrilled to have you here tonight in November, starting a month of gratitude, of thankfulness, of so many wonderful things. It's really that time of rest and preparation for all of us to kind of reflect, close out the year, and remember all of those who we love. And tonight we're really excited to have with us a new guest. Her name is Molli Pruit. But before we start talking to her, we're going to jump into this.
I'm April Tribe Juke. Welcome to the Beacon of Light podcast. I believe we are all made with light, and light is hope. This podcast brings authors who write stories of hope to all of you. Your journey to be inspired and amplified by these stories starts now.
And we're back. Thank you, everyone, for being a great support to the Beacon of Light podcast. We are excited that you are here. So, welcome, Molli. And with her tonight, you'll see running on the ticker underneath a way to contact her, as well as the name of her book, which is Integrated Wealth Accelerator. So, this is a really exciting time for us to meet Molli. And so, Molli, share a little bit about yourself.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, April. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I love the way you introduced that this is a season of reflection and calm, hopefully, and in a way, a time to reflect. So, my name is Molli Pruit. I have been a licensed professional counselor in the state of Georgia in the United States for about 14 years, and I work with individuals and couples to have healthy relationships. One of the reasons that I was really inspired to create the Integrated Wealth Accelerator, it's a book and workbook in one, was to really capture the lessons that I've learned with clients over the years and put it in one book so that I could hopefully serve other people. So that is where what brings us to this evening. So.
Wonderful. I know within the counseling profession, the opportunity to meet so many different varieties of backgrounds, people,
Mhm.
experiences, but I'm sure there's still one commonality, and that is within humanity, we do need to have that connection, that understanding, that validation,
Mhm.
and that feeling of I'm loved. I'm okay. And if I'm not, I'm here in your office trying to figure out stuff. And so within your 14 years of doing a lot of great counseling there, what are some of the learns that you have learned that you put within the book?
Yes, my earliest memory came from grief, the loss of my grandmother, and then I had some traumatic stuff in my youth, and then losing my mom just before I turned 30 really sent me on a different pathway. And I just had such a resonance since I was a young child, having empathy and a lot of care for other people. I could sense suffering in other people as well. And I just knew that I was called to help people, and I didn't really know what that meant. And so when I just was led to become a counselor, I just really wanted to just open up my heart to just see how to help people. And what I found over the years, peace, progress, path forward, hope, sometimes happiness, but mostly they want peace and to make sense of what's occurred in their lives, and that just really deeply resonated with me. Uh, Many times clients say better what my internal experience is for myself better than I even have words for, and that's been the beautiful connection to humanity and all the folks that I've met, regardless of young, old, male, female, teens. I've worked in the hearing impaired community. I also found out I have auditory processing disorder. So it's just been such a blessing to be in a connected space where there's full concentration to connect with people to help them make through whatever they need to navigate.
And in this navigation, do you find that the people who come to see you and seek out counseling, are they there and when they sit and start to express or think about the questions that you propose, have you seen probably their lives either close off, like, whoops, maybe I'm not ready, or just open up? Have you seen a variety of things like that?
Most of the time, people come into the therapeutic setting because something has prompted the call. That's one of the first questions I ask. What prompted your call? And there's usually an event, something that's occurred. But for the most part, I've reached the end of my ability to understand how to cope with this well, and I'm ready to talk to somebody to try to help me figure out what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and what to do about what I'm going through. So the people that I've been blessed to work with really have a sense, just like a deep knowing, that they need some additional support, and they're willing to take that courageous step to engage with another human to try to help them navigate through that process. So it's so gratifying and so humbling to me, and I just see so much courage every single day. I just finished up a couple of sessions tonight, and again, just I'm always awestruck at people who are willing to come in, talk about hard things, and then actually do different things in their lives just based on some information that I'm hopefully conveying to them to help them. It's so inspiring to see people, such a light to me to be able to see that in humans regularly, daily.
It is the power really of I like how you said to the vulnerability, right? That opening up to share something within themselves that they know they need help with, perspective on something, because our minds, our minds are beautiful. I think there's a movie about that. Anyway,
Yes,
our
right?
beautiful mind can
Beautiful.
really get lost in a cycle
Mhm.
because we have those negative voices that can really start to pull from our
Mhm.
past and bring up the emotion that can connect with that. And then shame happens and all of these things, and we start to
Mhm.
spiral, or we feel like, I guess I need to just be satisfied with what this is. And there's this whole type of a challenge to think, no, I'm not satisfied with this, and I
I'm not
want,
saying.
or I'm hoping for better, and looking to a counselor to find that guidance can
Mhm.
be such an opening, thrilling way. Uh, and there are times where you've probably heard, well, I went to this particular counselor and then there's these grievances that happened. Or I went and nothing connected and we weren't ready, wasn't the right match.
Mhm.
So, how do you, with that, with your book, because you put up a lot of experiences and
Mhm.
it's a workbook within the, let's pop it up here on the screen here, within the Integrated Wealth Accelerator, what have you found helps, or with the, I guess you'd say, with the clients that they come there, what is it that they're integrating their wealth? Are you talking just about money, their experiences? Can you share a little bit more about that title?
Yes, thank you so much for asking. So a lot of times people will come into the room having an intuition that they need support with something. As we go through the process, though, we realize it's usually multifaceted. So the way something's happening in one specific situation, area of life, let's say it's with relationships, that's usually a really big one. You will find that it also impacts their physical health. It impacts their financial well-being, and it can impact their spiritual connection. So what I've found over the years is the way that really instead of having a grievance with a counselor, a way to overcome that is to really treat the whole person, to be respectful that these are complex and complicated issues that have arisen by the time you go to therapy. And so the goal of the integrated wealth part is integrated means composed and coordinated to form a whole. WHOLE. So we're integrating means bringing together to form a whole. Okay. And then wealth means truly triumph, success, flourishing, thriving, expansion. So you can almost see that people, when they come into the room, you might notice that they're kind of pulled in, even on a couch setting, might have a pillow in front of them, knees pulled up, really, really closed off. And then by the time they make it through some progress, you'll see people begin to open up and they begin to expand. Their physical bodies actually begin to open up. Their heart is expanding, their mind is making more sense to them. They're having some successes and some wins because I'm choosing to look at the whole round, the whole person. So looking physically, financially, relationally, and spiritually, bringing those together to really make some forward progress. So, and then the accelerator part is that I've come up with a method called the AIM method, and my clients are taught this methodology to help them learn how to do that on their own, even when they finish counseling with me.
That sounds really, really powerful. The
Mhm.
concept of really figuring out that this idea of wealth of the whole person, I think, I mean, I really appreciate that because, like you said, we might come here for this one part, and if you can see how the complexities, we're just never one part. It
Mhm.
has depth and areas that we might not want to consciously realize. And as they come up and facing some of those surprises, possibly within that moment, can be kind of challenging. And so, how do you help them feel supported when something really emotional or something from the past, traumatic, comes up and pops up within a session? What do you do and how do you support that?
Yeah, for sure. Because you're kind of like walking through a path, and it is sometimes there you have these moments, the insight part where the pieces of the puzzle are starting to really come together. And as rewarding as it is to have the relief of the aha moment and the insight, it feels so good. But then there's also somewhat of a letdown or a grief process sometimes, realizing how much of an impact that blind spot has had in your life, right? So unconditional positive regard is the formal clinical terminology for it, but this means literally from the depths of my heart and who I am as a person, that I have no judgment for people. I have nothing but complete and utter respect for any of my clients in the room, regardless of what comes out in the process. There's never a judgment assigned to that. It's fully a place of being seen and hopefully feeling supported and secure and safe in that place to allow yourself to experience whatever all comes up. Most of the time, you'll find that there's a physical release. So whether it's tears, some people cry, some people might get quiet, some people get loud, which is fine. You're just really trying to understand what is going on within your own psychology and within your body. A lot of times when clients have experienced trauma, you can almost sense that there is a separation from kind of your head up from your body. And that's a way that your psyche tries to help you, but it ends up that you're really disconnected from how you feel based on what you think. And bringing those back together, it's a little bit of a painful adjustment. But yeah, I feel very grateful that I see that as a role that I have been blessed to be able to provide to other people. It's my gratitude. I feel grateful and honored to bear witness to that space with people. So it's never a negative thing. It's 100% gratitude from me to this person for allowing me to be in that part of their life.
It is a truly interesting relationship because I mean for the most part, you're a stranger. We're going to meet and I'm going to share things that for my life have been very intimate, and suddenly I'm handing this off to you, and at least vocally, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you are going to not laugh at me. You're not
No.
going to judge me. I mean, that's really rare in the idea of just probably your everyday life because
Sure.
just naturally judgments happen. We might feel that it occurs often. Sometimes we misread body language or facial expressions. Here's a great example. My thinking face is probably horrible. So many times when I'm thinking, people ask me two questions. First, are you okay? Oh, drives me crazy. I'm like, oh, smile. So my smile think face is worse. So the first thing is like, "Oh no, are you okay? Like, are you feeling okay?" And the other is, "She's she's mad. She's mad." I'm like, "No, I'm just thinking." And so that is really challenging because as a teacher, when I'm
Mm-hmm.
behind the computer and I'm concentrating, I can I can almost I need like a rearview mirror. I can almost sense my students like, "Is she okay? Is she okay?" I'm like, "I was just thinking." Just thinking. So I'm like, I need to put on the mask or something. So, oh, she's just thinking over there with this, like a blow up happy face or something or
Right.
a big bubble. I'm just thinking over here. I'm not trying to judge anything. And that's challenging, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
in those times,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I guess I just jump so inward to think and figure out things that I'm not consciously thinking. Okay, I'm thinking, great. Okay, so what do I do now? That doesn't happen. Anyway,
That's so
so
funny.
the point of all of that is misreading and being judged
Mm-hmm.
feels awful, and that's just kind of a silly example, but it feels terrible. I'm like, where did that come from? No, I'm good. And so when we're having challenges within our life relationally, whatever the relation is, if it's with work or with an intimate one, family or friendships, the challenge is really trying to understand yourself as well as understand the other party, and because the other party generally isn't in the room with that person
True.
at the same time, as you are listening and sharing this, thinking about that integrated wealth accelerator, the idea is really, how are you going to help them work through this?
Mm-hmm. You're right. You're right. And it's so interesting that you say, like the example about the face. I have it too. So I think about, well, if I could just wear sunglasses and get Botox in my forehead, maybe I'd be okay. So, because when I'm thinking, I guess my face doesn't quite mirror. But in sessions, I'm very cognizant, hopefully, about how my face shows that it's warm and inviting and accepting for sure. There is a term called pluralistic ignorance. And that leads to a lot of the shame narrative, because what we'll think is we're the only one going through something. So pluralistic ignorance is not knowing that anyone else on the planet is going through what I'm going through inside. And that's what keeps people quiet about the pain that they're feeling inside. So while it's again a lighthearted example to use the face and the the misinterpretation of that, I would never have known that you, April, also deal with that. I would never guess that somebody else would deal with that until you have conversations. And so thank you for sharing that, because it is a lighthearted one, but it's also, I would not have thought other people would be going through that. So that's what happens in the counseling office too, is people are like, I can't tell you, or I don't want to say because I'm the only person who's ever felt these emotions, or there's probably something wrong with me that I feel the way I feel, because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anybody else talk about it, or it's just part of our human nature to be worried about that. So I'd love to clear that up and for your audience to understand that terminology. So anything you're going through that you feel like you're the only one, go talk to somebody that's really safe and really secure for you. It will be vulnerable, but they will be able to help you overcome that so that you can move forward in your life.
That is beautifully said. And for our audience, many here, they come for hope and for light and for an opportunity to see,
Yes.
good and connection, and to realize I'm not the only one. And that is
Yeah.
the biggest lie that happens within any kind of a journey, whether it's a healing journey, just
Mhm.
life journey.
Mhm.
And we feel this experience. And if we have just a small wedge open for any negativity, you're alone, no one else knows, you can't share this. And whatever it is, feeling and voices or what have you, that repetitive thing, and then not sharing it, we're really, it's almost like we're walking on this path with so many other people, but our blinders on and we can't see anyone else. And when they fall off, you're like, you too? What? No, not really? Okay. Well, let's all group together. Let's figure out this life.
Mhm.
So it's humanity, and our stories, as we find,
Mhm.
have more connection than don't.
Mhm. Can really do.
And I think that, I mean, that is why books reach so many people. That's why so
Mhm.
many people really enjoy fictional
Mhm.
characters, because they can fall into that, relate to, experience the same feels. And then when we're reading our nonfiction books, we're looking for, where's the answer?
Yeah.
What's the list? Give me the 5 steps towards whatever.
Mhm.
And that feels very private, because it is your eyes on the page having those experiences of whatever that you can feel you are having. So when we think about that as a counseling
Mhm.
room, and you putting this information within a book, what do you
Mhm.
hope for the people who read your book? The in, integrated wealth accelerator.
Oh my gosh, that was such a warm question that made my heart feel fluttery when you said, "What do you hope for?" God, that's when you said that, like seeking answers. I wrote it in a familiar, I believe, hopefully approachable. Like, I'm one of those people that what you see is what you get. Like, from what I've seen. I mean, I guess we can all mask at times, but pretty much like if I were to see you, in any different environment, you're going to pretty much meet the same person. I probably wouldn't be just sitting in a chair, but I mean, I'm going to pretty much talk like counselese sometimes and weird stories sometimes or whatever, but that's pretty much me through and through. So I wrote this workbook, because I wanted you to open up the pages and say, Molly's talking to me. She's like, hey, the first line is, I'm so grateful you're here. We may be connecting and collaborating from a class, from a loved one might have sent this to you, or you might have downloaded it because it spoke to you on a spiritual level. So those are just the beginning lines to try to invite you, like, hey, it's safe to come over and hang out for a little bit. And then I put exercises in it that are related to physical health, because I'm also a brain health coach credentialed through the Dr. Amen clinics, Dr. Daniel Amen. So I do brain health coaching that's included in the workbook as well. So you'll learn about some physical health, actually the physical brain structure, to help you have a sounder mind. Financial, I've got resources in there because a lot of times we don't ever even cover finances and how it impacts your counseling, your well-being, if you will. So I put them in the book as well. Relationships, a lot of times we know red flags, but we don't know green flags. Sometimes we know what not to look for, but what do you look for? I just read that Bumble has $12 million in subscriptions monthly from women looking for people to connect with in the dating world. And men, the numbers are even higher. So people want to connect, but a lot of times we're not sure how to have that healthy connection. And then spiritually, if you've had any kind of trauma, big T trauma, low T trauma, however you want to say it, or anything that when life just hasn't gone your way, or you may have religious upbringing trauma for different reasons, I've put in some resources in here to help you just explore that avenue as well. Because if that piece of the puzzle isn't addressed, sometimes you don't get that real momentum and that accelerator moving forward. So my heart was to put it all together. So my hope is that when you're reading this, you feel included. Inclusion is very important to me. So I hope you feel included. I hope you feel secure. I hope you feel enlightened. I hope you feel like you've grown. I hope you feel like you can breathe a little deeper. I hope that you feel inspired. I hope that you feel motivated to share. I hope you feel the beacon of light just continuing to be nurtured. So that is really my hope, that it's conveyed. Who knows? But hopefully some of that is conveyed through this.
Beautifully said. And on that note, I am so appreciative that you've come here tonight and shared these great, great pieces of your book with us. And I know we all can't move down to Georgia to maybe meet you in your office, but this is a small piece. And if anything has really resonated with you tonight as you have watched this or have gone to see the replay, the importance that why we bring hope and light to your lives through books is because we know how much negativity there is out there in the world. And the choice that you have, which you have every day, is to choose light or to choose darkness. So this is an opportunity for you to find a way to really accelerate your ideas, the understanding, your wealth building within your spiritual, your physical, and your emotional being. So thank you so much, Molly, for being a part of this tonight. And tell us, where is the best place to purchase your book?
Yes, I am not tech tech advanced, but if you want to send me a message to kwaveconsulting@gmail.com and put Integrated Wealth Accelerator Workbook, please, and I'll be happy to get right back to you. I'll send it to you in an electronic form, and it'll be right there in your inbox right away. So they are $37, so I try to make it approachable. Hope that's reasonable for you. So thank you very much for that offering. You can also find me on Facebook. I'm Molli Ashmore Pruitt. If you can find me there, I write all the time in Facebook. Try to do inspiring posts or different teachings and how-tos. So would love to have you and welcome you there as well.
Thank you so much. Again, running on the ticker underneath, you can reach her through that wonderful Gmail address. And so put the name of the book, Integrated Wealth Accelerator, on that, and she will get you one of those copies. The price is $37. And that is a wonderful opportunity and gift to go deeper into your insight. If you think about it, coaching, counseling out there, I'll just say it's a little higher than that. So come on in, enjoy this opportunity for you during this time of reflection, Thanksgiving, and hopefully preparing for the new you, the improved you, or just the you that wants to feel peace. Thank you again for all of the support that you give here at the Beacon of Light podcast, and we will see you next week. Thanks, Molly. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.